Hi, I am Carlette, and at Breakthrough Communications, we're looking for the right person to join our team. So, obviously, we talked to people and we did some networking, and we went on LinkedIn and we searched a couple of resumes, and then we advertised. I don't like to advertise. Every time we advertise, we get flooded with unvetted and inappropriate applicants, but I read them all. I read nearly 400 resumes, and I saw a common theme that I felt compelled to share with you. I feel that we need to customize our resumes. Here are a few tips on how you can impress a potential employer with your resume. It should go without saying, but ensure that all your spelling, grammar, and punctuation are on point. I can't begin to tell you how many resumes that we got that simply had errors, basic errors, simple errors that you should catch. The rule of thumb is after you go through and you double check, and then after you go through and you triple check, share your resume with someone who you trust to try and find some errors too. Never send out a resume with an error. Lots of resumes came with an objective. You don't really need an objective anymore. Instead, consider a personalized summary that in a very short sentence explains who you are, where you're going, and what you've done. We don't need statements like, my objective is to be a part of your organization and earn money. Duh, that's why you applied for the job. But consider a professional summary instead. Always put your most impressive skill first. So if you're applying for the job of public relations officer, then your most relevant skill will be excellent oral and written communication. The fact that you have accounting skills is helpful, but it's not the most relevant. So don't put that first, okay? To me, this seemed obvious, but so many people didn't do it. Start by putting your professional experience in reverse chronological order instead of putting your education, and absolutely always put it in reverse chronological order. What's going to be relevant to an employer is where you're coming from and what skills that you have. The fact that you were a cashier back in 1996 may be your first job, but that's not what you put first. Also, consider not putting all your jobs. If you've had 12 jobs over 12 years. Consider grouping them to say, well, your professional experience is in this area and it included, rather than listing each and every single repetitive, unnecessary, irrelevant job. And as we're talking about jobs, list your achievements instead of your duties. As an employer, I want to know that you successfully managed a campaign, not that you filed each day, not that you sent out 16 emails, not that you were responsible for correspondence. Put your achievements. Let me know what it is that you're capable of. When you're sending your resume, please start at the high school level. Don't consider including your primary school level. Primary school is not about preparing you for the work world. High school is closer to preparing you for a job. So ditch the primary or prep school information. We absolutely don't need it. So you may be saying, but I don't have a lot of experience, and therefore that's why I'm listing all of these things. And yet still you may not be listing relevant non-work experience. Were you the public relations officer for your church group? Did you help plan a school trip? These are the non-work experiences that we want to hear about. So make sure to put them in as long as they're relevant. And this demonstrates an interest in the field, especially if you've never worked in the field. So never forget your non-work experience as well. Please include your references. Don't let me have to run you down for it. Every time that I say references available upon request, I'm like, why do I have to request it? You know I'm not going to employ you without speaking to your references. So why not just give it to me up front? So we just make everybody's lives easier. Again, it should go without saying, please avoid jargon in your resumes. Now, okay, fine. If you're applying for a communications position and you have certain communications jargon, you may think that's okay, yes? What if you're applying for a position in communications but all your experience is in the medical field and you're using medical acronyms and jargon? How does that help? Why don't you just assume that the person who's reading your resume isn't necessarily au fait with all the jargon and all the lingo that you know, and ditch them altogether? Always use conversational language and exclude the jargon. So the beautiful thing about modern day resumes is that often they're sent as a PDF, and a PDF of course can be linkable. So if you have lots of experience or additional information that doesn't fit quite nicely into your resume, consider including a link in the PDF. That way interested employers can always dig up and find more information about you without it all being on the resume. So these are my tips for how it is that you put together the content. All right, armed with this insight, I'm sure you are now better prepared to create the best resumes so that you can catch the attention of the employer with the best job for you.